Rowdier and rowdier.
Oh, I love it. That was fantastic.
All right, so I'm back. I hope you can see me. Small. First, I would like to make a small correction. I did look up where Zootpods is, and I can highly recommend that silent auction option. It is near the Alsace region, or is in the Alsace region, so it's very nice. I highly recommend it. All right, so I think a lot of what we've been talking about, and you've seen kind of what I've been doing. I do a lot of this behind the scenes kind of stuff, but a big part of it is organizing. So as events and fundraiser coordinator, I am organizing and fundraising. So that is what I'm doing to help contribute next year. As we've all said a lot, the big thing is we do need money. Whether you like it or not, we do need a certain level of funds so that we can achieve the things that we need to achieve, to run these ads, to have these kinds of events, to help support other members getting to these events, to reach more people, all that stuff. So our big thing is, it's a fundraiser. Every event that every chapter holds, every precinct holds, every meet and greet, in some way or another, it's a fundraiser. It doesn't have to be a huge one, but in some way we always ask, pass around a can, pass something around. That is how we are fundraising at all levels. So what is planned for next year, or this year I should say? So Ron mentioned it before, one of our biggest ways that we raise our money and on a continuous basis is through sustaining donors. So what that means is we have people that have set up a Dauerauftrag on their bank accounts, or every month that do it manually, where they contribute a certain amount to the Democrats Abroad Germany bank account. And that is really, really helpful. This ensures that we have a continuous amount of income, or a continuous amount of funds coming into our account every month. And we do need that, and this year especially is going to be big. So right now, our goal for this year is that every chapter, so we have 12 official chapters, we would like that each chapter manages by the end of March to get enough donors that they are contributing 100 euros worth each month from each chapter. So what that would mean is that would be 1,200 euros a month, starting from at least April, starting in April. And in the period from April to October, that would bring in 8,400 euros. So if we could do that, that would be great. That is not saying that one person has to do that. You're more than welcome. Don't have to. But a lot of what our donors do, our sustaining donors that we have now, a lot of it is small dollar donations. So the average donation that we get is around 8 euros. One way that we also try to promote it is just calling it a cup of coffee donation. So the amount that you would spend for a cup of coffee, around 3 euros or whatever, instead of doing that, you put that as a sustaining donation for that month. So that's our big goal. That's one of the big goals. Another thing that we have planned that we have done for 11 years now, this will be the 12th year, is Oktoberfest. So we all gather down here in Munich again in October. It should be around October 4th this year. I know October 3rd is a holiday, but it's a Saturday, so maybe it'll still be around. But this year, unlike other years, it will be a completely 100% Democrats Abroad Germany fundraiser. So all the money that is raised from the 100 tickets that we will be selling will come to Democrats Abroad Germany. So that is a good chunk of money, and it's a fun event. And come October, I know we'll all be in the final phases of all of this, but it's a nice time to get together, see people have some beers at 11 in the morning, and have fun. Another thing we want to do is probably, so like Oktoberfest, that's in October, but we do need some funds earlier, so we're considering doing another one earlier in the year. In Stuttgart, they have the Frühlingsfest, so keep an eye out for that. We're working on possibly doing something like that, and that might be either a Democrats Abroad Germany fundraiser or even a fundraiser for the international level, because it's also important that they have the funds that they need as well. And then, as many of you probably saw, back in November we sent an email, a mass mailing out via email, 1 year out before the election. And we call that, our Foresight 2020 campaign. And we asked for people to make donations. They could purchase or they could donate and get sweatshirts, t-shirts, buttons, that kind of thing. And it was really successful, and we would like to do that again. Probably in the coming month. We're working on a postal mailing that will be an actual physical piece of mail that is sent to all of our members who have provided us with a mailing address to tell them how to vote, and also to tell them about the global presidential primary, and to remind them we are a volunteer organization. Before I move on, I also, though, would like to have Lisa. Lisa wanted to say something. She recently became a sustaining donor and has a nice little anecdote about that.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I am a Texas voter, and I recently became a sustaining donor, and I wanted to challenge everyone in this room to join me in that effort. I believe there were 180 people that signed up to attend this event, and if we each donated just 5 euros a month, that would be an additional 900 euros a month just from this group. And I want to offer a few questions for you to consider. How much is this worth to you? How much is the 2020 election worth to you? How much are the families on the border whose children are being taken away from them worth to you? How much are our wetlands and waters worth to you? How much is our nation's reputation worth to you? How much are our human rights, our women's rights, our LGBTQ rights worth to you? How much is our peace in this world worth to you? How much is our Supreme Court worth to you? So we are a community of privilege. To a greater or lesser degree, each of us has more or less capacity to give. And I cannot imagine personally a more important election year in my lifetime. And so I really want to challenge you and encourage you to join me in becoming a sustaining donor to Democrats Abroad, Germany. Thank you.
So yes, if you have any questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer them afterwards. I'll give you our bank information, anything you need, or you can just hand me the cash, whatever works. Just so you know, so just to give you some ideas of all these things I'm talking about, what they really do for us. So these, from last year alone, these are kind of some of our fundraising numbers. So Oktoberfest was able to bring in almost 1,500 euros. Our Foresight 2020 fundraiser that we did in November, we brought in about almost 1,300 euros. And that included, you know, just people donating as well, not just because they didn't necessarily want anything in return, but just donations. Our sustaining donors, as I said, that's like that is our biggest thing. And so last year we were able to bring in over 4,000 euros from our sustaining donors. We also had some people that just do a one-time donation that will take whatever you got. That we got around 2,600. And then just so you know, so when you all registered today, there was the option also to either donate for our AGM travel stipend, which helped us allow support around 8 members to attend today. But then also we had one to help contribute to our gotv, or get out to vote efforts, and that raised almost 1,000 euros just from that. So thank you all for doing that. And then other things that we do, so I also help support chapters when they need it with their events, but other fundraisers, explicit fundraisers that other chapters did. We had the Wiesbaden Mainz Halloween party. Berlin, we put together a pie workshop. So we had a member who makes pies and has a food truck, and so she had a workshop on how to make pie. And so we learned how to make pumpkin pie from scratch, and it was a lot of fun, and it was just a fun fundraiser. And I know other chapters did things like Thanksgiving events, potlucks, things like that. So that's just an idea of other things that people have done. So where I would need support, or where we as an organization need support, one thing, Quaid already mentioned it, was the co-op. So that's a big thing where we help support the other country committees, particularly in the Europe region, get them the merchandise and the materials that they need to help them then support their own chapters, and also to make sure that they look good, get our message out. So if anyone is interested in getting involved with that in any way, please come talk to me. There's different ways that you can get involved, so we would love that help. And especially this year, the chapters are going to, the countries are going to need a lot of stuff. So we'll be busy, we'll help keep the postal system alive. And then another thing is, one thing you should have all also noticed is that when you signed up, you received an invoice via QuickBooks. That's something we've been trying to work in the last few years. If there's anyone by chance who actually knows how to use QuickBooks, let let me know. That'd be great to find out. I have been learning as I've been going, and I know that there are plenty of things that it can do that I am not taking full advantage of. So if anyone has any advice there that would be, or interest in helping with that, please let me know. So that's where I'm at. Anybody have any questions? That's what we're gonna do tonight. Oh yeah, so the money, where it goes. That's important too. It's not going to me, it's not going to us. We, as we have said many times, we're a completely volunteer-run organization. This money goes to helping us purchase Facebook ads or any other types of social media ads or even ads on websites. We've looked into this year even pursuing ads in movie theaters. We produce this materials, these print materials, so those like little vote from abroad cards that you have in your folders, like that is where this money is going towards. It's helping with that. We had made a decision that Germany chapters will not be charged for these materials. In the past, we've asked for a little bit, but we're only doing that now for the other country committees to help them support us. But if any of you in the room, any of our chapter leaders, if they ever need print materials about voting from abroad or about Democrats abroad, we just pass it out. We want to get this message out, and that's really important. So that helps support that and make sure that that is possible for us to do. It helps us hold events. We're going to need funds for the global presidential primary. All of our chapters and all of these voting centers have to be held somewhere. And in many cases, you might need to pay some sort of fee for these spaces, and we want to make sure that we have the funds to do that, and that people can host these voting centers in nice locations, so that when new people come, they also see that we look professional and that we have the ability to have an event in a nice space. So that's just some of the ideas of where this money is going. If you have more questions too, please let me know. Is there any questions? Yeah, so all the auction items, so the question is what the auction items, all that money, that is all donation. That is all helping us. The chapters were kind enough to donate the items in the baskets. Other people have been nice enough to donate these items from the portrait gallery, the books, the snacks, all of that stuff. It's all donations. So please pay a little, buy a few more raffle tickets just in the chance that you'll get that bag of goldfish and know that it's going to get people to vote.
QuickBooks, this is Bill Turnbull. Is that a free app?
It is not. So that is another thing that we pay a subscription fee for. I actually don't know. Do you know how much? It's like $39 bucks a month.
Okay.
And that is a way, it's to help us keep better track, and so that I can tell you these numbers. So I can tell you where your money's going, what's working, what's not working, and also so that we can follow our funds and track that better. I'm not saying that you all are not honest people, but I want to know who's paid and who hasn't paid.
So if I receive a receipt from QuickBooks, do I need QuickBooks to look at the receipt?
You do not. You do not.
It's just in your email. I think you probably got it.
Amy, just wanted to give a plug for the Wiesbaden Mines chapter. Again, one of the events that was a local event was our Halloween party in Mines, and it was great. Unfortunately, not that many people came. We're doing it again this year. And Halloween is on Saturday this year, 31st. Come to Mines. Mines is wonderful. Wiesbaden's great. And this is an excellent location for a spooky Halloween party. It's under a bridge.
Just a troll.
It's actually in a bridge, but
I wanted to thank, sorry, your name again? Lisa's contribution. Amy and I were just sitting here today listening and said we're absolutely going to become sustaining donors. Thank you for the inspiration. So the Dauer Auftrag, is that a form that you have, or do I do that? I just want to get real granular on how that works.
So you can set that up yourself. So with the IBAN, we can provide you with our IBAN, and you can go online when you do online banking, and you can set it up on there and choose like how long. You can have it either go unlimited, or you can have a date when it ends, and you set the amount, and you pick the day like when it's removed from your account, and then it'll automatically happen each month.
Emily, I have a quick follow-up to that. The question that I get often is, my German spouse's name is also on my account.
Great
How do you deal with
question.
that?
So, as some of you also in this room have discovered, if your German spouse's name is on the account and your name as the U.S. citizen is not on the account, we cannot take your money. That is unfortunate, but what that means is instead you can go to your chapter meetings, and when you're there, you can hand them some cash. We are being super, super careful. There are very strict regulations regarding foreign donations. We cannot take them, obviously, and we do not want to ever be accused of taking them. So we do check who's donating this money closely, and we do follow up. So at your events, when you hold events too, and you have people say that they're interested in donating, it may be uncomfortable, but you have to ask. You do need to double check. This is not the time to mess around with this. So.
But to be clear, on the bank account, if the American's name is on the account with the German spouse.
Exactly. It can, as long as it's a co-owned account, and I see your name. That's also something that has come up. Some people say like their spouse, they own the account with their spouse, but unfortunately their name does not appear. I am being particularly picky this year and saying I don't want to risk it, because if we print out our bank statements and someone has to check those and if they don't see it, they're probably not going to ask me, can you get that? And I'm not going to chase you. So I want to know that it's either both your names have to appear, a U.S. citizen's name has to appear, or hand me cash.
Hello, my name is Dave Downey, and I want to make an offer to the Democrats abroad. This year, there's also a Frühlingsfest in Munich. It's about the same thing as a Oktoberfest, just in the springtime. And of course, not as big, 14 tents Oktoberfest, 2 tents Frühlingsfest. But I get one of them, and it's called Hippodrome. And on the 27th of April, I've got the date right now, I'll offer to Democrats abroad, I'll invite you as a guest, because you don't have to pay any prepayments, nothing like that, and I will give Democrats abroad as many tables as you need to come out and enjoy with us. I expect about 1,000 guests, my own guests, about 30% of those are Americans. Wow. Okay, just so you know. So this is a huge event, possibility to come out to the gotv event, okay? So come on out. I'm sure that Patrick will get out an email out shortly with the particulars, but it's a huge event from 6 o'clock in the evening till they close the place. On the 27th of April, that's already said.
And we'll see you then. Thank you.
I just had one more comment to what you said about standing donations or sustaining donations. A lot of people have always said, I give to the campaign of my choice, or I give to the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, or the TCCC, or the Democratic Party, or whoever. I'll just tell you, your money goes to Democrats abroad. You get more bang for the buck if you give to the international, if you give to Democrats abroad Germany, than the millions and millions that all those other campaigns get. Democrats abroad is working on a much tighter budget, and we can actually get more votes per dollar for every dollar you donate.
Think about those 120,000 people. 110,000 of them we still need to find. That's where it's going.
I was just looking at the calendar. April 27th is on a Monday. Okay.
Either we drink on Sunday mornings or we drink during the week.
Thank you, Emily.